and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's the relationship segment. Oh, yeah.
It's like the Kool-Aid man. It's like, oh yeah.
Oh, and it was a broken wall sound.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this question. Do you think you should move in with your partner before you get married?
Patrick?
Wow, she came firing.
He always likes to you know.
Okay.
She's ready to go.
Just kidding. You caught me off guard there.
No
I was
pressure.
ready for my arguments, not my input. Okay. So I think there's a lot of common agreements with people who move in together prior before marriage, right? As far as like financial stability, right? For some people, like just to move in because rent's so much harder it is today than it was at one time, right? Mm-hmm. So the financial aspect of it, I've always heard. Like I have a buddy of mine actually that said he would never marry anyone unless he lived with them more than a year, right? Because you don't know how they are, you don't know who they are. Doobity doo dappa 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 dappa, right?
I like it.
So. I don't know how much that like really benefits you to move in and get to know someone better. I get that you are going to realize some things that you probably didn't realize before, because obviously living with someone, being with someone 24/7 is gonna open doors. But we live kind of in a day and age where you're talking to whoever it is that you're getting into this relationship and becoming serious with a lot more than you were 50 years ago. Right? You would only talk to them obviously when you saw them and occasionally on the phone. But now you're texting and conversating throughout the day. Most people put their whole life on social media. So you kind of know how this person is behind closed doors when they're alone. You kind of know how this person is just by discussing with them the day. Right? And I feel like, again, like we're in with podcasts today and debate shows and we're all very opinionated. I feel like a lot of those topics that could become a problem when you're living together are kind of already brought up before you even talk about moving in together. You know what I mean? Like you're getting to know this person way more today than anyone else has ever before. Make sense?
Well, don't you think that whenever you're talking on social media, you're text messaging each other, are you just on dates, you're just putting on your best self?
Maybe at the beginning, but you got to think like, so how fast are we planning on moving in with this person? A month? Are we planning on moving in this person a year and a half, 2 years? Right? Where is the line that you're planning on moving in with this girl, with this woman?
You see what he's trying to say? Like,
yeah,
you're.
You know this person way more than
but
they did 50 years ago.
Not through text and.
No, you can get to know someone through text. It's just like long distance relationships.
Yeah, and then you're still going on dates and stuff. They're coming over to your house, like they're getting
another
comfortable.
variable that there wasn't before. You're still doing what people did 50 years ago, and they're going on dates and they're getting comfortable. And you're hanging out. Yeah, just like he said. But you're adding a new variable in the fact that you're being able to talk to this person almost 24/7.
Constant communication.
So you think someone's gonna keep their fake face when it comes into like living with someone or being like spending the rest of your life with somebody?
Yeah.
You think someone's gonna keep a fake face on 24/7 for a whole entire year? Like, and if you yourself don't see that it's a fake face and everyone else sees differently, well then that relationship wasn't gonna work out in the long run either way.
I'm not necessarily saying fake. I'm just saying being on your best behavior. Don't you think you're being on your best behavior whenever you are you're dating? I mean, like when someone goes over to the other person's house, I mean, you're comfortable, but you're not that comfortable because isn't like one thing like girls don't necessarly fart in front of guys or whatever.
Well, girls don't fart at
That's
all.
not a thing. Girls don't do that.
They fart.
Gross. Gross.
But you get what kind of I'm saying. Is it kind of different whenever you're just staying the night over somebody's house?
I do think it's not a hand in hand. Like it's not 100% either. Like it's not 100% trade off. But when before, like let's like put it in a numbers form. 50 years ago, you only knew this person 50%. Right? And there was 50 other percent behind closed doors you didn't know. Now with social media and being able to talk to this person way more, I think you know this person now 80%. Right? Yes, there's still that 20% little variable that could fluctuate, but you know this person more today than you ever have. So to me, that gives you an extra, I'm going to call it an excuse, an extra reason that, just moving in together purely based on the fact that I need to know them before I marry them doesn't hold as much value as it did way before.
So basically, just for you, it's just no point of view, no, not you, but like just in general, somebody couples moving in together before marriage.
For that reason, because I feel like that's one of the biggest reasons is people say, I want to get to know this person, behind closed doors. I don't think that holds as much value as it did prior, because you know this person way more than other generations had the chance to.
So why do you think that we looked at the numbers, right, and we saw that there was a drastic jump from the amount of people that nowadays do move in before getting married, opposed to back then? And like you said, the fact that you're still consistently talking to this person, why do you think the numbers are kind of going in the opposite direction? Like those don't go hand in hand with what you're saying.
I think it's because of I'm going to call it a fad, but the
Okay.
the whole reason of like you have to move in to get to know. We've kind of built that, right? We've built that ideology kind of going forward. Like it's something that more now you have to. It's almost like now, like if you didn't live together before marriage, you're kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
Like you're almost put into that little bubble of being weird if you're doing it this other way. And I don't see that reason exactly, being it. The thing that would be most interesting to me would be the statistics of how many people are actually getting married today than how many people did prior.
Right.
Because if that pool is smaller, then of course the people who moved in together prior are going to be smaller too. So if that goes hand in hand, that to me would kind of explain the reasoning of people moving in before.
So I was definitely a firm believer of moving in prior, just because again I'm in the same way of you got to get to know them, their routines. Bathroom routines, like that kind of stuff.
Are you gonna snore all night?
Yeah, you're gonna
Am I gonna be able
sleeping.
to put up with
Exactly.
this snoring?
But again, after kind of talking with Patrick, we're looking up some numbers, and one of the things I came across was the relationship inertia, which essentially means people that whenever they move in together and they feel stuck there because now they're in a hole financially, because like you said, it is easier to cover rent and mortgage when you're going half with somebody, and then also your things and all the stuff that you have there, it's harder to get out of that, and that's what kind of creates bad relationships. Because if things aren't great and you want to get out, now it's so much harder to get out of it. Now you have to go back to paying the rent and mortgage by yourself, or leave that person hanging basically. So you find reasons to stick around through a bad relationship.
But wouldn't it be the same if you were married? Because now that whenever you do get married, you have all of that, but you have you have to you have to like get a name change. You have to do all the stuff that's necessary after you get married, because there's a lot when you get married. Am I right, Naomi? Because you were married once, right?
Like it's like you have to now go through a divorce. So shouldn't you just like live together, see if it works out? That's why I think that.
Right, but I think
Instead of having to go through the whole divorce thing because it didn't work out.
I feel like it would be a lot harder if you were married.
Sure, but I think the argument is a lot of times it leads to more divorce by getting together early, because you're staying in a bad relationship. You're not getting out of it. Whereas if you are married, it's not necessarily you're not breaking up as easily. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you're almost rushing the marriage.
Yes.
Now. Like we're living together. Me and Mace are living together, right? And we think we're in love, but in reality, like we hate it and we want it to end, but we can't because I'm paying all the bills and Mace is a stay-at-home wife.
But this is
a
marriage.
stay-at-home girlfriend. Sorry, this is just boyfriend girlfriend.
Yes.
Oh.
Mace is a stay-at-home girlfriend, and I make all the money. So he's seeking, how am I going to do this by myself?
Yes.
So he's just kind of just forcing himself to be in this and forcing himself to get married. He's forcing it to get pushed.
Yes.
Rather than,
when you get married, you're getting married because you're happy and things are working, things are good, right? Whereas, like what we're saying is, if you're in a bad relationship and you're forcing it and you're staying in it because it's harder to get out, that's more likely going to lead to a divorce than someone that is happily married, even though they haven't had a chance to live together
You're
yet.
getting married for different reasons.
Yes.
What if y'all get married and then y'all move in together and then you figure out that it's horrible? By that point, you're married, so like you gotta try to make it work.
Right, but either way, that's still going to be a variable,
yes.
right? So that's not an extra variable we're adding into the equation, right? Right now, marriage is A plus B equals C. But you guys want to move in prior. So now it's A plus B plus C equals D. You added in a whole new variable in there that could mess up the final solution.
Yes.
Because you want to make sure that it's going to be good and, that it's actually going to make it work. So then when it does happen,
Exactly.
you'll be it'll be great because you're 100% sure that this is the person I want to be with because I've lived with this person for a whole year and we didn't kill each other.
Exactly. And you're
So
around
we're
Go ahead.
yeah, because you're around each other all
You're
the
around
time.
each other all the time, so you're basically like you're married already. It's just like when you get married, you're putting on paper and you're just doing it in front of a whole people.
Right.
Sorry, A plus B plus C, but I don't know, man.
So that's why it's crazy that you're only on this side, because your whole point was somebody could put their best foot forward and paint their beautiful face on, when in reality they're waiting to get married to show you their true self. Same thing with what I was saying earlier. You could text somebody to get to know somebody, and you said, but wait, that doesn't count because they could be putting on their, their beautiful face for you.
Well, just as first, it's like whenever you start dating, they're putting their best foot forward. But then once they start getting comfortable living with each other, then that's when it starts to,
Yes. So
yes.
why does that go correlate to exactly what I was saying earlier? Why can't I get to know this person texting, just like you said, where it's all great first, and after they start putting their best foot forward, I can get to know them through text? Because a while ago you said that doesn't exist. But when it comes to moving in, you now say it exists.
Okay, so like about the texting. Hold on, let's scratch it. Let's go back a little bit reverse. You said like, sorry, you said like I said it would have happened. They would have put their best foot forward.
Yes, when we
Yeah.
first started this conversation,
Yes.
I said people can text each other and get to know each other.
And you said
your
no.
argument was no, because they will put their best
Yes.
foot forward, so that doesn't work. But now you're saying we'll move in together and they're going to show me their true self. Why can't they do this same concept and put their best foot forward even when you're moved in?
I think people are just different whenever it comes to living at home.
And see, and I disagree, because I live with someone who put their best foot forward for a year and they clean their own stuff. Then after that, they never clean, right?
Well, that's why we're saying like, yeah,
Yes.
you live with them the first year and then they let go. So
So-
at that point
Right.
you're married and
Right,
y'all
but
live
the
together.
argument is-
you're
you're
gonna
not
go
answering my argument. That's the thing. My whole original point is you can do that through text and getting to know someone without moving in. You guys are saying it works over here, but it doesn't work over here. You got to pick a side. Does it work or does it not work?
No.
Why? Why doesn't it work? That's what I'm confused by. You guys are saying
because like you don't realize like people don't let loose until you're like living together, like really let
I
loose.
don't think so.
Like where I didn't put my lash on that day, or I don't know.
You don't think girls get comfortable even if you're just dating? You don't. It just like all of a sudden moving in makes a girl comfortable. I've dated girls and I know that they get comfortable.
Yep.
So-
and I've never moved in with
Yeah.
any girl.
So
I've ever
I
dated.
watched a show called Girl Chat, and all of them agreed that basically they didn't know, because some of them they got married and then they moved in together, and the ones that got married and moved in together, they got married, right, and then they moved together. They were all like, "Oh my gosh, I learned things." She was like, "I learned things about Freddie that I had no idea. Like I had no idea that he did this." Like she was shocked, and these, that wouldn't have happened if they would have lived together
basically-
before.
So basically, learning more about the person as when they start moving in together. That's what you're trying to say.
When
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
And-
so much. She was shocked.
And you can say that, yeah, they all agreed and they all said, hey, look, this is, we all agreed to this and this is how it works. But the statistics show that the people are in a worse relationship when they move in. It's more people have reported worse relationships when they moved in before getting married.
I don't agree.
I was 100% on board with moving in prior to marriage. I 100% believe that.
And I was trying to remember like what she said that she was so shocked about. I think it was just his schedule. She's like, why is he in the restroom for so long? Like she didn't understand like certain things, so she was like shocked.
But how does that
certain
help?
things that he did weird.
I don't know how it helps.
I don't
how
even
does
know
that
if this
help?
would
Like,
make a
if I'm in the
difference.
restroom longer, how does that help our relationship?
I guess
that
we
you
better
know that.
Well, I guess better make sure that you have 2 restrooms prior to moving in.
You don't think that it's just people kind of
A cop out.
yes, like to me, like that's what it almost sounds like. You just didn't want to accept it. So like if that's really gonna annoy you, right? That let's take that example that I'm in the restroom too long. That's gonna annoy you whether like we're moved in or married. So
Yeah.
like that just seems like such a cop out.
It's going to be a problem regardless.
Yes.
So
That could be a problem while we're dating.
Yes, exactly. Because you would know that while you're dating.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm so confused of why like you can I don't like you can't know this stuff before moving in. Like everything you guys have named so far, you can know it before dating. I can know how long someone spends in the restroom. I can know if somebody farts, right? Like, I guess I don't know. Maybe I've dated women longer than like the typical person because like girls get comfortable,
Yeah.
right? It's
Uh-huh.
I haven't just dated someone and they've been like absolutely not comfortable for the whole 4 years. Right, and I haven't moved in. So where this thing is that you're not comfortable with someone until Devin farts in front of me all the time, and we don't live together. So I don't understand that mentality that someone doesn't get I get that there are aspects that you probably didn't realize, but I don't think it's as bad as it used to be.
You'll learn a lot more whenever you're living together. A whole lot more than you think.
Okay, so you've been dating this girl for a while, right?
Yeah.
And this is off of a movie, and I can't remember what movie. But anyways, you've been dating this girl for a while, right? And you guys are flowing. Everything's good. Everything's great. And she kind of gets a hint that you're about to ask her something. And you're like, hey, I got to talk to you. And you get ready to tell her, like, hey, let's move in together. Like, you don't think, like, you don't take that as, like, kind of like an insult. You're like, hey, like, you know, we've been together for a while. Are you,
So,
like,
like-
scared of commitment? Like, why? What is with this whole middle ground? Playing it safe, like before, right? Don't you think, especially like from a woman's standard, don't you think beforehand, like it was way more like mature of you to kind of go out there and be like, you know what, I'm ready to make this next commitment, rather than let's still kind of play it safe and go into.
No, I don't think it's I think it's a step in commitment actually, because you want to live together. You're taking a big
It
step.
is a step up.
It's a step, but I don't think
know,
it's a
but,
lack
like,
of.
I kind of see it like.
Yes,
I
like,
would
you've
be
been
nice. It
waiting.
would be
You're
nice
like
to
in
be
love
like
with
at
this
least
man, or you're
engaged.
in love with this. Because I think from a man, it's a little harder. So from a woman, you see it more as that moment being like, okay, we're going from boyfriend to girlfriend to married. Now us men have created this little subdivide here that we can kind of stand on this safety zone. You don't take that you don't see it that could possibly as an insult to a woman where she's ready to make this full commitment to you, and you're like, move in, half the rent. Like, I mean,
that is
realistically,
tough,
that's
yeah.
kind of what you're telling her.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't think of it as an insult. I just really think it's just the biggest step in what we're doing. So she finds that insult, we'll have that compliment, but I'm not gonna not compliment. We'll have that conversation, but I don't think it's an insult. I think to me, it's just it's a step. It's a step to where we're going. And also, hey, you just said, ma'am, you want to live before you get married,
People are
and you
allowed
said,
to change their mind.
Right, so
And she's
are
home
you
one of this podcast.
Like,
So
it's
you
really like
so you changing your mind?
no, I would like to be engaged. Like at least I would like to be engaged, so then I know it's serious.
Thank you. Because see, and I think that's an element you were missing out on the human
Because then I feel-
emotion of it.
Because I do feel like we're gonna live together, and he's never gonna ask me because he gets
Because a lot
comfortable.
of guys do that.
He gets
Right,
comfortable.
we move in together, we're moved in. Okay, cool, I made it. Right, I'm good,
Yeah.
I made it. Rather than like, I want to make that next step. Let's fully take a step in rather than dipping your toes into the pool.
Yeah, it's harder to continue to grow at that point.
And I think, and again, like me and Mesa, we all kind of spent time a little bit looking at the statistics. But I wonder if
Yeah.
that's another argument that maybe women would have, is saying like that they're not getting that full commitment.
Mhm.
You don't see it at all. Like you don't slightly see how somebody would take that as an insult.
I can. Now that you're saying that, yes, I could probably. Take
He
that
would
as
probably
an
have to
insult.
say ahead of time. Nah, it wouldn't work. He would have to
I don't
ask
even know.
before.
Yeah, how that discussion.
He
kinda
would
goes about.
say, it would have to be, "Will you marry me?" and then be engaged.